In this video, Shelley and I go camping in the Drakensberg. We go on a few hikes that offer breathtaking scenery of the mountain range. We spot some of the wildlife and bird life that this unique area has to offer. And we also experience some intense weather conditions. I hope you guys enjoy the video. The Drakensberg is a vast mountain range stretching across several provinces in South Africa. Mahai Campsite is located in the Royal Natal National Park, which is in the northern part of the Drakensberg. About an hour away from the camp before we had arrived, we could already see lush green mountains in the distance, which got us very excited for the next 4 days. This is really a special part of South Africa that you have to experience. We arrived a little bit later than expected at around 5 o'clock, and we set up the campsite and got a fire going. By now this goes really quickly, it only takes around 15 minutes to get everything sorted. Hey guys, welcome to another video. Shelley and I are going to be camping here at Mahai for the next 4 nights. It's in the most amazing location in the Drakensberg, and we'll do a few hikes from the camp and also see what animals and bird life we can see. We set up the camp a few hours ago and we've got a fire going, and we're really excited for our time here. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Do you hear the red-winged starling?
Is that what it is?
That evening we were joined by a few guests in the campsite, including this female bushbuck. Later on we were joined by this massive raucous toad. Just look at the size of it next to my hand. This guy means business. And we thought we'd come on a quick drive now just around the camp, outside of the campsite grounds, and see if we could see any nocturnal animals. And we've spotted this flap-neck chameleon, and they're much smaller than you get them in the low veld. Less than half the size, much smaller. They're tiny. They almost look like a dwarf chameleon. And there are 2 chameleon species that you get in this area, the flapneck and the Drakensberg dwarf chameleon.
Can you put your phone?
Absolutely stunning animal. We were very excited about seeing this chameleon, and we even saw one more before we carried on with our short drive. We also got to see this beautiful spotted eagle owl that posed for us on top of this post, and later that evening I was sure I could hear an African wood owl calling in the distance. The next morning before our hike we did some birding around the camp. The standout sighting was definitely this female southern masked weaver feeding this juvenile Diederik cuckoo. Because cuckoos lay their eggs in the nests of other birds, this weaver would have unknowingly raised the chick as her own. A very interesting sight to see. In general, there were a few different bird species to see. At the start of the hike, before we began gaining any elevation, we spotted a male mountain reedbuck in the distance. If I hadn't been carrying my tripod, capturing those distance shots would have been impossible. Because it was summer, the vegetation was lush and green. This region of South Africa receives most of its rainfall during the summer months, and these images don't do justice to just how vibrant and alive the environment was.
Really warm just walking up this mountain and tiring, so we're looking for somewhere to cool off. It's quite open here where the water isn't flowing down from the top of the mountain, but over here where the streams are flowing, there's really dense mountain forest. The scenes and the vegetation, it's really just so different.
Something we couldn't get over while we were there was the sheer amount of water flowing down from the Drakensberg. Hundreds of waterfalls and streams all running at full capacity. We were pleasantly surprised by the amount of bird life there was to be seen, and unfortunately not all species were caught on camera. We eventually arrived at Tiger Falls where we had a swim, but it was cold in the shade of the trees next to the fresh flowing water, so we didn't stay for too long before carrying on with our hike. I was telling Shelley I probably said beautiful about 50 times while we were on our hike, and we're thinking this afternoon we'll just take a short walk to the swimming area here called Cascades for an afternoon swim. The water is quite cold though. When we had a swim at the waterfall it really was freezing, and we saw a few baboons on our walk back, and since we've got back to the campsite now as well, there are a few baboons going through the campsites, making sure no one's left out any food for them. And these baboons have quite thick coats, I guess for the winter time around here when it's quite cold. Later that afternoon we took a short drive to where we'd do a hike the next morning. It looked like it was going to rain and the temperature had dropped. We didn't go for a swim this afternoon. We were quite tired after this morning's hike and decided to just chill and relax at the campsite instead. And now it started to rain, so there'll be no looking for chameleons or owls tonight. The wind And we're really excited about our hike tomorrow morning to Tugela Gorge. It's going to be about 15 kilometers, a round trip there and back. So yeah, we're really excited for that. The next morning there were signs all around us that we had had a heavy downpour during the night, and our camping equipment was definitely put to the test. Thankfully we had gone out looking for animals on our first night because that was our only rain-free evening, and we stayed in the campsite until around 9 a.m. waiting for the weather to clear before heading out on our hike. After checking the map and making sure that we were at the right spot to start our hike to the Tugela Gorge, we set off, always with the tripod in hand to get the best shots as possible.
We're doing the Tugela Gorge hike, which is alongside the Tugela River here, which flows down from the Drakensberg and then about 200 kilometers east into the ocean. The rivers are full and the streams are flowing from all the rain last night. The gazebo took a lot of strain, and yeah, there's a lot of water around the campsite as well. And we're also on the lookout for some earland antelope. Hopefully we get to see some. The only antelope we've seen so far is the bushbuck in the campsite and that mountain reedbuck, which was quite far off, and keeping our eyes peeled for good birds as well.
Shelley managed to see this big herd of earland antelope on the opposite side of the Tugela River. Some seriously good spotting. They were a few hundred meters away and they blend in so well with the vegetation. We were then spoilt with views of this beautiful malachite sunbird. Really special bird to see. We passed through a few small forests where streams flowed gently, and it was clear that wherever there's water, life thrives. We even caught sight of a yellow-throated woodland warbler, definitely the most difficult bird I've tried to capture on video.
This walk is such a contrast to yesterday mornings where we went quite high up This cuts into the mountains and is quite pleasant. You stay pretty much the same height. The sun's gone behind some clouds, so it's nice and cool, and so many different waterfalls. We've counted over 5 really big ones on our walk, and we're about 6 k's in. I think it's 7.5 until we get to the end, where we'll spin around those eland across the river on the opposite side. We didn't expect to see them. Even though they're the biggest antelope that you get in southern Africa, they're really difficult to see because they look like boulders. You have to keep your eyes on them and wait for them to do something to actually notice that they're moving. And the amphitheater, which is the main feature of the Drakensberg in this area, has been behind clouds the entire time we've been staying at Mahai Campsite. So we're also waiting for the clouds to clear to get a good view of that scene. We were told by the guide reception yesterday that the best view is actually from the car park. We've just got to the end of our hiking trail. We did 7 k's and we can see the chain ladder in the distance to go up further to Tugela Falls. But it's unbelievable to just sit here and see how much water is actually flowing and how the water has cut a path through these rocks, I'm sure after thousands of years of flowing. Now it's unbelievable. And we're gonna head back now. We've just feasted on some chocolate chip cookies and nectarines. We're gonna have a swim in one of these rock pools and then head back. I don't think the camera is gonna be able to capture how spectacular this place really is. We're heading back to the car park now. We've been walking for about 2.5 k's since we had our swim at Tugela Gorge in that ice cold water. And for the first time since we've been on this hike, the amphitheater has cleared up nicely and you can see it properly. And we think that we can also see the highest waterfall in the world, the Tugela Falls, at the top right of the amphitheater. I'll try and get it on camera, but it is quite far away.
Lumpy.
We're back from our hike. It was longer than we expected. It took about 6 hours in total, and the legs are feeling it, the legs are tired, but we're glad to be back at the campsite. And out of all the things that we packed inside of the car, we're glad that it was the firewood.
Yeah, but I'm saying you came here despite seeing it.
While we were relaxing at the campsite, the weather began to change and the wind picked up. We were immediately grateful that we were no longer on the hike.
sleep in the car.
The lightning was so intense during the night that we decided to rather sit in the car for a few hours and wait for the storm to pass.
This is crazy.
By morning, the sky had cleared, and to our surprise, the sun was also shining. We took a short drive to the start of the previous day's hiking trail to catch a clear view of the amphitheater and to catch some footage of the water flowing. If you guys are enjoying the video, you should visit richardvanhak.com for videography courses and custom car door camera mounts. And you can also support me on Patreon, where I share even more content and behind the scenes footage. After all the rain over the last few days, when the sun eventually came out, there was an abundance of bird life. It didn't take long for us to go on our next short hike. We really did a lot of walking during those 4 days.
It is so quiet over here. You can't hear any birds calling or any water flowing. It's just Shelley and I over here on this little ridge, wide open field. We're about 1 kilometer from where we're heading to a place called Sunday Falls. Maybe we can have a swim there as well. Sunday Falls is behind us, not more than 300 meters away. And next to the path here on this exposed branch is a locust, which has been impaled by the southern fiscal. We've seen a few on our hike this morning, and there were also a few of those birds in the campsite. And they do this. It's either to mark its territory or to come back and feed on this prey later. Really interesting behavior and standard of the southern fiscal.
We really made the most of those chocolate chip cookies we picked up on the way to the Drakensberg. We enjoyed them so much we made sure to stop and grab another bag on the way back home. This old abandoned hotel was once a popular destination where even Queen Elizabeth II stayed in 1947. Now it's been deserted for decades and is slowly being reclaimed by nature. Luckily for us, we arrived back at the campsite just in time before the baboons could settle in. After we arrived at that waterfall, it started raining, so we didn't film much after that. But we saw a nice gaudy Commodore butterfly, and also some mystery paw prints on the trail, along the trail that we were walking on. Shelley says it's a caracal, and I think it's some sort of mongoose species. But yeah, we got no idea, so you guys must let us know if you have any idea what animal that is. And it's pouring at the moment, but very nice. While we were enjoying the rain and the calmness of Mahai on our last evening, we suddenly noticed thousands of flying ants erupting from the ground. Just minutes later, a massive troop of baboons appeared, clearly ready to make the most of the feast. We couldn't believe the incredible show they put on as they scrambled to catch their dinner. I then decided to also jump up and grab one to show you guys exactly what all the baboons were after. We spent the rest of the evening by the fire, comfortably sheltered under our trusty gazebo. Luckily the rain wasn't as intense as it had been the past few nights. The next morning it was still raining and we decided to pack up at around 8:30 a.m. to head back home. We were pretty soaked by this point, but grateful that we had managed to do the hikes during some clear weather. This time out in nature was really special. On our way out of the park, we were lucky enough to see a giant kingfisher, as well as a few uncommon African black ducks, birds you don't often see in KwaZulu-Natal. Yeah, it took longer than usual to pack up this morning. It was really raining pretty much the whole time. We're glad that that's all over now, but we had such a good time here at Mahai Campsite. We enjoyed the hike so much, beautiful scenery, and we saw some good bird life. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.